It's time to get inside the Giants Huddle.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
On Giants.com.
I like it, I like it.
And the Giants mobile app.
Boom, give me some juice.
Part of the Giants Podcast Network.
Let's roll.
Welcome to the Giants Huddle podcast, brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the New York Giants. The Giants Huddle rapid reaction after the Giants fall to the Seahawks 24-3 on Monday Night Football at MetLife Stadium. My name is Madelyn, Burke, alongside the Super Bowl champ Howard Cross. And Howard, this was a tough one to watch for this Giants team. Of course, Daniel Jones under pressure all night, sacked 11 times. It was really hard for this offense to get anything going with the quarterback under so much stress.
Under stress is an understatement, I think. I think if you think about the 11 sacks, that's what people kind of focus on. But he was hit 11 times. Plus the runs, when he was running the ball, he was getting hit because he had to. You start getting a little gun shy. Your feet start getting a little happy when people are hitting you that often and you're getting hit in your second step or a three-step drop. I know we have a lot of weapons and stuff, but if he's going to keep getting hit, he's not going to have time to get the ball down the field. And that causes things that you don't want to see. That causes turnovers. Now you're getting hit so much. You're starting to get hit from the backside before you can even get both hands on the ball. You're starting to have air throws because you're just trying to move the ball down the field because you don't have enough time to throw it down the field. You're just like, okay, we just got to take a shot. And, you're taking the interception because you're getting hit in the face when you're letting it go.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about the way, this offensive line coming in here without Andrew Thomas starting left tackle already, and then John Michael Schmitz, the rookie center, goes down with a shoulder injury midway through the game. Ben Bredesen comes in at center. Shane Lemieux comes in at left guard. Then Lemieux goes out with an adductor injury. Mark Lewinsky has to come in. There's so many change-ups at this offensive line. That can't be easy.
Well, you're thinking about Azudu playing left tackle, right? So he's been playing guard his whole career. I think he came out of college as a guard. I think he may have played a few games at the tackle. So that's hard enough for him. And then you have when Schmitz goes out of the game, you can immediately tell that there was a few issues in the interior of the offensive line. It just looked different. The first quarter, they moved the ball really well. They moved the ball way down the field. Then they tried to do the tush push, as everyone's been calling it. And I think that's where Schmitz may have gotten dinged up because he got up from that play. He didn't look the same. Then he played another series. Somebody kind of came through, and they checked him, and they checked him in the tent, and that was it for the night. Then you start substituting players in. If these players were starters, they would be starting now. And I think that's what fans should remember, that when you're watching these games, the offense is going to look poor if you can't get anything going. I thought they did some pretty interesting and creative, kind of misdirection runs, putting two people in the backfield beside Daniel and having them go in two different directions. That kind of threw them off a little bit, but you can't do that all night. And if you get stopped, if you get more than third and whatever, it's just too much. The penalties didn't help them either.
Yeah, penalties definitely didn't. You mentioned that first quarter drive, though, the opening drive of the game. Of course, the Giants start with the ball. They're moving the ball downfield. I mean, last week, week 3 against San Francisco on Thursday Night Football, the Giants had just 29 total rushing yards. They had 45 rushing yards midway through the first quarter. So almost doubled that number. They were getting the ball to Breida. They were moving the ball down the field. But you mentioned 4th and 1 at the 27, and they go for the tush push. A lot of the elements in this, Daniel Jones left his feet. They were trying to get him over the hump there, and it just wasn't effective. Some people say, oh, well, they should have taken the points here. But you know what? Having that momentum, the coach saying, no, I believe in you. I'm putting you in this position, and I believe in you. And this wasn't the only position that they had to convert to score. But it seemed like as much as we were seeing the offense able to move the ball, the first half at halftime, the time of possession was almost 20 minutes Giants, 10 minutes Seahawks. So they had the ball. They just weren't able to score because of those little moments.
Yeah, I think the fourth down play really kind of set them back. I think they're going to have to put bigger people in to do the pushing from the behind, because if they don't, it's not going to work because they're undercutting the offensive lineman. I think they've kind of studied it, and that's how they're going to try to defend it. As far as the other plays, I think as long as they stay ahead of the numbers, meaning like second and 6, 2nd and 4, that kind of keeps them in the rhythm and they can keep playing. Anytime they come out and try to throw the ball on first down and there's no completion or a sack, they don't recover. They just can't. I think the entire offensive line kind of starts to lack confidence. And again, you don't have all your guys in there. You got basically one guy playing, and that guy is playing at his best average. So that's kind of tough.
You're ready for a change. Payday comes early with Citizens, so go to that retreat. New you moves to the country. Now you're raising goats and launching a lifestyle brand. Are you ready for all that life brings?
The Giants defense did have their moments, especially in the first half. I mean, we heard this week Wink Martindale challenging people to come out and chart this defense and watch them tackle. And we saw the tackling drastically improved, especially in the first half. We saw Kayvon Thibodeau get 2 sacks. They were getting pressure on the quarterback so much so that Geno Smith actually left the game for a period of time in the second quarter with a knee injury. He was able to come back in the second half, but we saw Drew Lock out there for a little bit for Seattle. So they're putting pressure on the quarterback. What did you like about what you saw from this Giants defense?
The Giants defense played an exceptional game. If you think about it, the only points that we really scored was they had one drive of 7 yards for a touchdown that came off of a sack fumble of Daniel, and then they had an interception for a touchdown. So that's 14 points right there. The 7 points they scored when Drew Lock was in wasn't really a busted coverage. They were rushing off the edge. The tight end was kind of blocking. He missed his block totally and just drifted out because he says, well, my God, he didn't get there yet, so let me run. And Geno rolled towards him and threw it to him, and there was nobody around him. The missed tackles on that play were the big problem, I think. K had a chance to run over and just blow him up and knock him out of bounds. He kind of dived at his legs. Then Jackson, same thing, hit him and ride him out of bounds. They kind of dived at his legs, and then someone caught, I think
Isaiah Simmons, yeah.
Isaiah Simmons, with the great hustle, comes down and gets him and stops him from getting in. So they really didn't have a good play on that play. The Giants made a mistake. If the Giants would have, just played the coverage that they could have, if they didn't never let the guy out, or if the guy actually got his block, if he just got his block, that play would have happened, and they would have never scored there. So it had probably been like 10 to. It had probably been not even 10. It had been 7-3 going into the game. We had to change the whole flow of the game. They didn't get a score. That they really didn't move the ball or do anything outside of that.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle got the ball. 51 yards down the field on that one play, and then of course, Isaiah Simmons tackles, Fant stops him at the 1 yard line, but 2 plays later, Kenneth Walker runs the ball in, gets a touchdown right there, and the Seahawks are on the board. Now, this is a tough way to start the season, right? 3 of the first 4 games in prime time, 3 of the first 4 games taking a loss for this Giants team, getting drastically outscored, and a tough opponent next week in the Miami Dolphins, going to Miami, a team that we have seen can be explosive on offense, can be quick and speedy, and this is a Giants team, too, that as much as we are seeing optimism in this defense, they still haven't yet gotten a takeaway. They're the only team in the NFL that through the first 4 weeks of the season hasn't had a takeaway. How can they right that ship against a tough opponent in Miami this week?
Takeaways are mostly luck. I don't think fans realize it. I think it's a really weird stat when people keep track of it. And the luck of it is you got to catch the ball when it hits your hands. They had 2 drops in the Dallas game. They had a drop tonight. I think Thibodeau was trying to catch it and run it into the end zone instead of trying to secure the ball and go to the ground and catch it no matter what. So he missed the opportunity. A couple other opportunities where the ball was on the ground. I think they had a chance to get to it, but they called them incomplete passes. So it's just a game of luck. If the defense keeps picking it up and the pressure keeps growing like it's growing, they will get their chances.
You love turf. You're good at it. So you start a turf biz. Business grows, your savings grow. Become the most celebrated name in turf. Are you ready for all that life brings?
Especially, too, a big important factor is getting healthy in this week, because we've seen how banged up this offensive line is. We see, Saquon Barkley already, kind of flirting with coming back soon. Andrew Thomas, unclear as well.
Hamstrings are bad. You can never tell when they're going to get better.
Exactly. So we'll see how this Giants team fares in a week of practice. But if you're this coaching staff, you're going out, you're looking at this film, what's the point of emphasis to focus on this week to turn this thing around for the Giants?
Well, the sad thing is that they had a long time before this game, right? This is a Monday night game. They played a week ago Thursday. That's a long time. I think that letting the players go home and not letting them come back to Monday, trying to keep them on a regular schedule because they were so needed to get away from the game. That's just a technique some coaches use. Me, if I was a player, I would have stayed here, studied film, and tried to get every bit of information I possibly could, trying to figure out how I could, do better than I had been doing personally. It's just a different mentality that it kind of carries. I think the coaches are going to lean on them really, really hard because someone's going to have to say out loud, like, you're getting your quarterback killed. You got to have some pride. Like, we'll only go as far as you can take us. And they're going to have to figure out how to run the ball. That's going to be the biggest thing. And they kind of figured that out tonight. But they got to figure out how much they want to run the ball. I know they got a lot of weapons. We want to use them. I know we want to, show off all our little shiny toys. But running the ball will, can help the defense, can help the offense, and probably put the ball in the end zone. The bright spot, Gano hit a 50-plus yarder.
There you go. Graham Gano, always money right there. But the Giants, of course, lots to work through as they turn this one around and look ahead to Miami in Week 5. That's a wrap for the Giants Huddle Rapid Reaction. The Giants Huddle is brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the New York Giants. From game day to every day, Citizens is made ready for Giants fans with insights, guidance, and solutions. Learn more at citizensbank.com. We'll see you next time on the Giants Huddle. For Howard Cross, I'm Madelyn Burke.